News 12 and NBC 26 on your side.
As we hear, it's pretty loud there behind you. A lot of folks waiting on tiptoed anticipation for their name to be called.
Absolutely. There's about 300 or so soldiers in here waiting for their name to be called, for their families to pick them up outside. In the 6 o'clock hour, we first showed you that line of families, loved ones, parents, wives, husband, waiting to pick up their soldier for this holiday block leave. And now we're taking you inside. And I want you to take a look right here. The glass is still here from where that car ended up that had those 6 kids inside. Now, there was one thing we did notice that day. There wasn't a single car seat or booster seat inside that car. The Augusta Commons and the Riverwalk Amphitheater are 2 outdoor venues that have quite a few tall buildings surrounding them, which is similar to the venue where that country concert took place in Las Vegas. And now what you're looking at right now is also a similar view to what the shooter had during that mass shooting on Sunday, where he was looking down into a wide open area, except he was in a hotel room that was 32 floors up. The holidays are supposed to be known as the season for giving, but it's also known as the season for stealing, especially among porch pirates, thieves that are stealing packages right off your front porch. Richard and Laura, I want to show you this. The street lights are on tonight. The town of Johnston has power, and that is more than they had yesterday. To give you an idea of how large piles can be and can't be, like I said, for Richmond County, it can't be more than 5 by 10 feet. And to give you some perspective, I'm 5'1", so you can only imagine how tall this is. You know, this is almost 5 foot right here. What I can tell you is when we first arrived to the scene, we did see 2 people were involved in this accident. 2 of them were injured and put into this ambulance that you see behind me that is leaving. We also got an update just about 5 minutes ago from the public information officer over text, and I'm going to read straight from that as well. That victim was shot in the leg and was transported to the hospital, but no arrests have been made at this point. But to give you an idea of how big this fire was, when we were first arriving to the scene, trying to find the neighborhood where this house is located, you could see the red flames in the air. That's how big it was, Meredith. And they put up this caution tape earlier today when I was here around 6:30. It's still up. No one's staying the night here tonight. You can see pieces of the roof on the ground, just tons of it. But bottom line is these families lost everything today. It's the biggest time of the year in this Harlem neighborhood.
People decorate, they invite the kids in, they sit out in the yard with the table, big bowls of candy, music.
Shady Grove is known for Halloween, and the Crenshaw family have lived right in the middle of it for years.
We have thousands of trick-or-treaters.
She says kids love the spooky decorations and good candy, and the parents love it because it's safe. But outside Shady Grove, Crenshaw says there are some doors kids shouldn't knock on, specifically registered sex offenders.
We never trick-or-treated in any other neighborhood but this one, so we didn't have to worry about that. But I was always aware who they were, where they lived, how close they lived.
In Georgia, there's a curfew for sex offenders on Halloween night, but not all of them are required to follow it. Only the ones on probation or parole. In Columbia County, there are 98 sex offenders. The sheriff's office says about half of them are on probation and have to follow the curfew. The other half are allowed to participate, meaning they can open their doors to your kids. In South Carolina, there are regulations for all sex offenders. Ashley Finch with Aiken County's Probation and Parole Office says the 25 current sex offenders under supervision are required to meet at the office on Halloween night. Those who aren't still have to stay in the house with the lights off. Finch says they don't want parents to be alarmed, but aware. That's why every county has a list of registered sex offenders online.
So you can plan out your route to avoid sex offender residences when you're going out to do trick-or-treating.
But Crenshaw says this is important year-round, not just on Halloween.
They need to be aware of their surroundings. The world is what it is. It's not safe 100% of the time.
We are all used to seeing it, or sitting in it by now, the construction zone and the traffic it causes on I-20. But today I took a ride with Georgia State Trooper Ben Rollins to see what he sees on the interstate.
Getting their coffee cup, talking to their kids, Facebooking.
The truth is, we're distracted, but Trooper Rollins says it only takes a few seconds to cause an even greater delay.
They're not paying attention to what's going on in front of them, so when you have traffic at a stop or almost a stop, and then a vehicle comes up behind them at 70+ miles an hour, obviously the damage is going to be pretty severe, and the potential for injury or even death is there as well.
GSP is trying to decrease the accidents on I-20 by increasing the number of troopers. In this case, 6 or 7 instead of the usual 3. And they were looking for drivers who aren't necessarily looking for them.
They will maybe put their phone down, put their seatbelt on, something along those lines. But there's also, on the flip side, plenty of times where we can ride right beside them or right behind them, and our vehicles are clearly marked, and they don't even pay us any attention.
Speeding or distracted driving by itself is dangerous, but as we've seen in the construction, it's deadly.
Keep moving, but just go a little bit slower than the posted speed because of the people out there, because these are people's fathers and husbands and sons, and they can get hit just as quick as we can.
This road is probably one of the deadliest in the area. Over the years, I have seen numerous accidents, obvious by the crosses that surround me. There's 3 crosses right here.
Just up the street is where the 4th and most recent cross lines the road. This cross, in memory of someone Mel Miniature knew, 25-year-old Kesley Paget. What do you kind of remember about her?
She's friendly. Everybody, she stopped and she talked to everyone.
Miniature says whether Paget was on or off the clock, this Aiken County deputy was loved by everyone.
I've seen her on the side of the road there when there was an accident there by our market there in Warrenville. And people, hey, Kesley, how you doing? And hey, girl, what's going on? Everybody down here liked her.
After noticing more and more crosses popping up around every curve, Miniature says he contacted South Carolina DOT to see if something can be done.
And some changes have been made. Perhaps we wouldn't have lost Kesley now.
Now, he wishes something was done sooner rather than later.
And I know that our roads are in disarray right now and in need of serious repair, but this is beyond serious repair when this many people die.